thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, share, and share again because this interview is exclusive. I'm sitting down with one of the best basketball players to go Division I out of the Youngstown, Ohio area, Mr. Craig Randall. What's up with you, brother?
Man, what's good?
First of all, thank you for taking this time out with me to talk about some very serious things that I believe is going to help our viewers on tonight. The last time we got a chance to sit down, you were getting ready to prepare for your upcoming season. However, now that has been put on pause. So everybody wants to know what's going on.
Well, I've battled mental illness or mental issues for a while now. It's a very sensitive topic all the time, especially when people know like what you were brought up in, certain things I don't think you would go through. So my transition from Memphis to Duquesne was a very hard transition, especially my first year getting to Duquesne, just because I've never been sat down, like never been in a position where I just can't play. So even with coming home and dealing with the new coach, dealing with new teammates, it's always hard. So even before I even got to Duquesne, before I got to Memphis, I struggled with like depression and things like just being away from home. That was new to me when I moved away. So it hurt me in a way where I almost cost myself being able to even play basketball at Duquesne. Fights with teammates, combative with the coach, things that just aren't me. So I didn't know how to deal with it at some point in time. I would let it get the best of me, wouldn't go to class. There are things that were just like out of character of who I was. So I really had to dig deep, ask myself, is this what I really want to do? Things like that to be better. So it was a struggle, it was a challenge. When you deal with things like that, you try not to like let everybody in. So and that's one of the things that you shouldn't do. So like the more people want to help you, especially the ones in your close circle, you should let them know what's going on, because the more they know, the more they can help.
Absolutely.
And in the beginning, I didn't let anybody in. I kept it to myself because I was embarrassed. I didn't think that a kid I was in the spotlight a lot. I mean, I was.
As a child.
So
you were always in the spotlight. You were ranked 85th best player at the age of 13. You go on to win multiple awards. You were the highlight player at every gym, yet behind closed doors, there's a lot of stuff that you went through.
It was just, I felt like I didn't want to be like a disruption to whatever I was doing. So like I tried to stay my image to everybody else. I tried to keep that at all times because nobody really knew me at home. And for a while, I even hid it from my parents because I just didn't want my parents to really worry. So anytime your kids go through something, obviously they take that into serious account. What do they do wrong? How do they help you?
Absolutely.
I tried to keep it away from them just because at home stuff, I just didn't want to bring it there. So I would keep it to myself. I never really told anybody. It took me probably month 6 while I was in Arizona to ever open my mouth about struggling with it at all. So that was big for me.
And while you were at Arizona, you would get Player of the Year, but behind closed doors, you would also struggle with a lot of things that most people never even guess about. So when you were there, do you feel that there was something telling you that maybe I should reach out to someone so I can get help, or was it one of those things that you just try to pull under the rug and say I'll be all right?
I knew I should have reached out, but I feel like I was just tough enough to deal with it on my own. And I came to realization that I wasn't. But I didn't come to that conclusion until I got to Memphis. And then I almost cost myself basketball then too. So it took a while for me to really like just buy into everybody trying to help me. So when I got to Memphis, I went through it. I struggled. My sophomore year, I went to counseling, multiple counselors, just to talk and let things off my chest. You know what I'm saying?
When you talked to the counselors, what were some of the main things that they stressed to you? That, Craig, you need to do this in order to get these stress levels down.
Just be open more to listening and not worrying about what I could control. So when stuff is close to me, or if it's something with a family member, or it's something that I feel like I have to play a part in, I let it bother me to an extreme. So
yes,
I mean, I deal with a lot of stuff. Like, I don't like to let people down. So I know in my position and what I do and where I'm trying to go, I got a lot of people looking at me. I got a lot of people really looking up to me, things like that. So I feel like if I don't reach that potential, I was going to let a lot of people down. And it was just, I didn't know how to handle pressure. As much as it looks like I know how to handle pressure to the public or in a game where I don't act like anything's wrong, the pressure off the court is probably the biggest thing that really bothers me.
Do you feel that more of the pressures off the court is what affected your play on the court? Because to the outside looking in, nobody would have ever even guessed that you went through things like this.
Yeah, with me, basketball was my safe place. So I would use basketball as an escape. So I would always say that as long as I can play, I'll be able to deal with it. And that's when I got to Duquesne, I realized I'm really struggling because I couldn't play. So all I had was practice. All I had was go home, go to the gym, and it wasn't enough anymore to just basketball. Like going to the gym, working out, like it just wasn't, that wasn't it. So like I really hurt myself in terms of I shut down completely.
Yes.
I shut down mentally, I shut down emotionally, I shut down athletically, I shut down academically. I just shut myself completely down to where I almost cost myself the one thing I love almost more than anything. So it was just, it's a tough spot to be in, but I know that now where I'm at with my head space, now where I'm at with where I'm going, like I've done better.
Yes.
I've opened up more and I've grown up. So my biggest saying I've been saying is I don't lose, I learn.
Yes.
And so I've learned a lot from the things that I've been through. So the things that I usually would let affect me now, instead of just staying to myself and not opening my mouth, or I'll call my brother, or I'll call my dad, or I'll call my mom, just to get off my chest, so that way it doesn't bother me all night and then lead into the next day. So I was really like, I would let stuff go on, and then it would affect the next day, and because of that bad day, it'll affect the next day. It's like it's kind of hard to, it's like a repeating trend every day. So if you don't deal with it right then, it's really hard to get through it. But now lately I've been not even in that headspace anymore. I mean, of course I can play, which is a big help, but even if you took away basketball with me from right now, like if you took away basketball right now, I know mentally and emotionally I would be okay because of how much I've matured and how much I've learned from the mistakes I have made.
You've made mistakes, and all of us have. Do you feel that, first of all, it was a mistake going to Duquesne?
No. Duquesne was one of the best things I could have done because it helped me grow up. Because of the situation I was put in with not having basketball and having to overcome the issues that I had to deal with. So getting in arguments with my teammates and being petty or not being coachable sometimes and just not doing the right things I know I was taught to do, the right things I know I should be doing because of the position that I'm in.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, my parents always say, like, I'm a representation of my whole family. So, like, I'm not just representing myself when I do things that aren't of me. Because my parents raised me to do everything right. My parents raised me to be a respectful young man, all that. And sometimes I wasn't acting like I was that person. So now I've taken, like, a pro look at everything. So that's why I want to be a pro. I mean, I try to make my work ethic as a pro. So if I don't take that pro approach, then things probably wouldn't be as they would now. Like I look big picture. So big picture for me is that right now, if they would have looked at me last year, would they take me? And honestly, they probably wouldn't have. I would have been a risk to the team, a risk to the coach, a risk to the organization if I was to get drafted because I wasn't right myself. You know what I'm saying? So, and I would blame myself for everything. So I wouldn't even, anything that went wrong, I would just hammer myself instantly. It would just be me, me, me. And there are some things I couldn't even control. It's like, it wouldn't be my fault, but I would still take the blame.
Was it your choice to leave Duquesne?
No. I wanted to come back because I felt that I worked really hard to put myself in position to help my team win, to gain the trust of my coaches and my teammates back. I did everything they asked me to do, from trying to better my relationship with my teammates, better my relationship with my coaches, better my relationship with the people around the school, like just the community of the school. I cleaned my act up in class. I mean, my work ethic on the court, that'll never change. Like that was never a question. So there are situations at Duquesne that drove the decision for me to be not a part of the team anymore. So
when you mentioned there were certain situations that happened, I was told from a few sources that there was some bullying from teammates. Can you clarify that?
I was bullied, harassed, taunted, stalked, everything that you could think of in terms attacked. Things that should not happen to anybody from teammate to teammate, and they did. And in those situations, I was told that my safety would be guaranteed, and as long as I don't act out, as long as I don't respond, I would be okay, and I would come back. You know what I'm saying? And that wasn't the case.
Did any of the coaches help you, or did they actually put more on you at that point? Because a coach's job is always to diffuse it. Do you feel that they added more fuel to the fire?
They definitely did add more fuel to the fire. I mean, they did what they could in certain situations, but at the end, it was out of the coach's hands. So they kind of left it up to the athletic director, and then it was left up to the team. And it was a mixture of them having feelings of last year and how I was, and you know, it's really hard because I felt like I had put so much into the team. You know me. You know me. You one of my closest friends. I'm a real genuine dude. So
absolutely.
If I care for you, I care for you. That's just it. Like whatever you need, I'm gonna try to do. And with me, like off the court issues with me never matter. So we could be never talk, never say two words to each other, nothing. But when we get between those lines, I'm going to war for you, period.
Yes.
Like, it don't make a difference. And that wasn't the case in the situation. Me and one of my teammates could never get along. I said some stuff to him earlier last year. We got in a lot of arguments on the court, and it was just a relationship that couldn't be repaired.
Yes.
So, I mean, he took it upon himself to do the bullying, the harassment, all of the things that I know if I responded to, I would have been penalized on the maximum level because of things I've already done. So I did everything the coaches asked me to do, and at the end, it comes out I'm the one punished. I'm the one that is not a part of the team, part of the program anymore, and it hurts because I know how hard I worked.
Yes.
And I really, like, I thought that Duquesne was going to be it. Like, I thought Duquesne was my place to go because of what happened at Memphis. And so I thought that was my last stop, but obviously it wasn't. And you know how we are with our faith. Everything happens for a reason.
Yes.
So, and I'm just going to keep in my mind that this was God's plan, and he's always multiple steps ahead of what hits us. So I'm not ill towards Duquesne, angry. I have no hate. I would never bash that because that's not what type of person I am. So it just, the situations is wrong, and it's very hurtful to have to go through.
It's very hurtful to have to go through. Do you feel that your mental illness was a cause of damage to the team? And if so, do you feel that any of the players felt threatened that you had it?
My teammates really didn't know much about my issues off the court. I didn't really expose that to them. So they probably took some of the things that were said in practice or some of the things I did in practice as me just being somebody who just screwed up or somebody who just didn't care about the team and never knew what I was going through. So they never knew what some of the cause was or some of the things I was doing. I'm never going to sit here and make excuses for what I did. My mental illness is not the reasons why I was doing some of the things I was doing, but because of the things I was going through,
yes,
I did lash out a lot because I didn't know how to handle them. So insecurity in terms of being on the court and coach saying something to me, stuff like that, I was very like, why are you talking to me? Like, stuff like that. So
yes.
My teammates didn't understand, really. They didn't know. I never really told them. But the teammate I had a problem with, somehow, some way he knew. And the first chance he got to pick at that, the first chance he got to let everybody know, he did. And after that, when somebody comes at you about that,
yes,
when you're not comfortable with it yet, you're not comfortable with people knowing, that can like really damage you in so many ways. So especially on an embarrassing level, because you have this demeanor towards people like nothing's wrong with you, but as soon as they find out that there is, people will pick at that because they understand like, nah, I got him. You know
yes.
what I'm saying? Things like that. So that's probably the one thing to me that really hurt, is that I don't understand how the fact that my coaches did know I had like issues off the court, issues
yes.
with my mental emotions, all that, and in this situation, none of that was taken into account. So none of the listening to my teammates or listening to somebody else just tell me everything I did wrong, if it would throw me back
yes.
into that state of mind of what I was thinking or anything. But I know I'm not ever going to go back there, regardless of what anybody says. So, like, I'm way stronger than what I used to be.
Absolutely.
So, like, I'm not sitting here looking for pity from the university or from my coaches or from my teammates. That's not it. I'm just here being honest about things that really college athletes don't speak up about
enough.
That should speak up.
Because they go through so much in just one day, let alone an entire preseason and then the actual season. And there's not a lot of light that is shed upon it. But now you are shining light upon a very serious manner. What is the next step for you?
I mean, I just want to be a voice for people who don't speak up, people who are scared to come out and talk about the things that is very private to them. So people who do have mental issues, people who do struggle with handling certain things, I just want them to understand, like, it's not an embarrassing thing to have those issues, because people that you would think never would do have them. So
it was during a playoff game last year when Kevin Love left the bench and went back to the locker room for the Cavaliers because he said he was having a mental breakdown. DeMar DeRozan came out about it the same way. To see you stand up and acknowledge it is incredible. What advice would you give to those college athletes or even professional that may have some mental challenges, but they're just too afraid to say something?
Just trust that there are people out there who really care to help you, and don't be afraid to open up and let people know that you're struggling with something. Because the more you keep it inside, the more you're going to struggle, and in the end, it can really hurt you. So the longer you hold it in, the more you're probably going to suffer from all of the pain and anger or whatever you're feeling inside. So just, even if it's not a counselor or if it's somebody really close to you, your girlfriend, anybody, just talk to somebody about something. Let it out, and I promise you, you'll feel so much better.
Do you feel better now that the quote-unquote secret is out?
Yep, and I don't know how people will react to what they're gonna hear, and I'm not really too worried about it because I know I'm comfortable with where I'm at right now.
Yes.
Most people would be scrambling and confused and hurt and down, but like I said, I don't lose, I learn. So all of this is a lesson to me. All of this is just another obstacle that I have to face. And my mom, she preached a message that there's agony in your victory. So in every victory that I'm going to have, I got to go through something. So I guess this is my agony, and I'm going to get through it with the help of my family and my close friends. So my circle's solid, I'm solid, and there will be more from Craig to come on the court, off the court, and that's just how it is.
On the court, Craig, when will we see him again?
There's no timetable for that right now, but hopefully and prayerfully I will be back this season. You will see, hopefully and prayerfully, on the court, Craig. That's what we're shooting for. So, I mean, we'll keep everybody updated, but right now we're just going to focus, take one step at a time, and just make sure we find a place that's right for me and someone who's willing to still help me reach my goals.
Nothing else needs to be asked. Ladies and gentlemen, Craig Randall, appreciate you, my brother.
Appreciate you.
Make sure you guys like and share this video. The Chris Gunther Show. I'll see y'all next time.